So let me introduce to you Artemis Sky McNeil, LLC of the Happiness Habit. She's a board certified nutrition practice. It's founder certified in holistic health, focusing on gut and mental health, as well as many other things as physical fitness, herbology, and aromatherapy. Most important is her ongoing research to provide the most effective and beneficial protocol for quality health and education to help empower her audience. So let me introduce to you Artemis Sky McNeil.
Thank you, Corey. And it's nice to have you all here again. Another Friday together. I call you my savvy bunch, my gentle warriors, because the reason you're here is not because you have perfect health. It is because you have perfected a process of continuing to better your health by means of small daily sustainable habits. And, when we talk about holistic health, the reason I have continued to educate myself as well as colleagues, conferring with colleagues, is because a holistic practice really is not just my own slice of the pie, which is gut health, but it has to do with looking at things holistically, mentally, emotionally, nutritionally, physically, with herbs, supplements, botanicals, vitamins, minerals, and then we present it to you in a way that is understandable and sustainable. We've started to do our themes this week. We are having part 2 of the power of water and hydration. We don't want to overlook the basics because we are living in a scientific and holistically advanced society, so to speak. We're in a time where it seems like even integrative medicine is just exploding, and all these cutting edge things, DNA things, injections, IVs, and all that. And yet we don't want to overlook some of the basic and fundamental things of what we need to actually live and exist. And we go back to things like sunlight and water and nutrition and movement. We are hydroelectric machines with emotions. And we need to power both the hydro and the electric. We actually have enough electricity at our brain at any time to be able to light a 40-watt bulb. So we are literally electric and water. And so I love that we're doing this in a series. Again, somebody said, is this going to be recorded? Yes. If you missed one segment, we do a little bit of review as we overlap to go to the next part. So we love that, in that we're not just changing subjects every week, but we get to kind of really digest it and really take it in. And hopefully by the end of the third part of the series, most of them will be 3 parts, some will be 2, some will be 4, but most of them will be 3 parts. We'll be able to all kind of dig in, roll up our sleeves, have some the links, our own connections made to what we're learning, start applying, and then actually share it with each other, our own application, how we benefited. After last week, who by a show of hands, and there's no judgment here, this is a safe space, but by a show of hands, who actually upped their water consumption, or at least was more aware of, I need to drink more water? I love it. 1, 2, 7. Yep, I love it. See, that's what these webinars are. It's to make these small sustainable changes and to then look back, because everything is a link, right? It's all linked. There's no one magic pill, but there are some certain fundamental addressers that we really want to look at, these powerful small things that once we change them, we look back and we go, wow, for just some pure water, my joint pain is gone. I sleep better. My digestive system's better. And we really like that. I moved a little better this week. I cut out this processed food. The seed oils are no longer part of my vocabulary, my diet. And these small changes have empowered us greatly. I've said many times, to feel great, think small. And so this is part 2 of the power of hydration in all living things. We also don't have Walter I call him Waltered, but we also don't have him squawking in the background today. And hopefully our internet will work. And so we're recording it and we will pass this on to those that couldn't make it today. But again, it's nice that we get this in a series for all these reasons. Now, touching a little bit from last week, I've read a lot on water. I am referring to several books and articles. One in particular, You're Not Sick, You're Thirsty by Dr. Batman Galige. He's an Iranian doctor. He's actually known for getting the Nobel Prize for penicillin and in treating disorders like ulcers. He's renowned, a world-renowned medical doctor. And of all the themes that he could have brought to our attention in the world about why we get sick or how to address illness, he talked about water. He talks about water for health, for healing, for life. He's written more than one book. And it's pretty amazing that he could have spoken about anything, but he spoke about an incredible, the incredible power of what I like to call cosmic juice. If you remember last week, I touched on this. Why do I call water cosmic juice? Well, because it actually started when I was taking care of a little boy who just kept wanting to drink juice, sugary juice, and I was trying to get him to drink more water. And so I came up with this title, Cosmic Juice. And he looked up. I said, don't you want this really cool and really old ancient cosmic juice that comes from the like the universe and the stars? And he was like, what? And so I came up with the story of it's not just water, it's cosmic juice. It's an ancient magical elixir. And then he grabbed it and started drinking it. But I actually thought, it's not a lie. Where does our water come from before the earth was created? We've talked a lot about, even in our meetings that we have weekly, that are spiritual meetings, we talk about the atmosphere and the separation between the earth and this water canopy. Well, where was that before it came to the earth? It actually was from the universe above, from comets and asteroids and created from other things, but it does come from the heavens. And then it works its way down to our own earth, which is made up of 71% water. It is covered and it works in a cycle, which reminds us of a passage in Isaiah 55:10. For just as the rain and snow pour down from heaven and do not return means that there is a return process there until it saturates the earth, making it produce and sprout, giving seed to the sower and bread to the eater. This passage indicates that water is included in every aspect of life, from the heavens, from the clouds pouring down. It returns as evaporation. It saturates the earth and allows for produce and food, so that life can happen. This is the water cycle, and it shows how everything is involved. The sun, the clouds, the mountains, the rivers, the lakes, the sky. So the water cycle is a process that we need. We are walking not just through air, we are walking through water on a daily basis. We know that, we feel that more when there's humidity, but without this water, we would all just be dust. Water is the most essential part of getting anything. It's the catalyst to everything, but it's not just a catalyst. What's interesting, and what this doctor, Batman Galige, brings out, it's that its own nutrient. It is its own nutrient, and without it, we cannot survive. We talk about how much, just in life in general, how much everything takes to, how much water it takes to create anything. This slide, let's see. So this was interesting that nothing can be produced on this earth without water. Not a pair of jeans, not a car, not food, nothing. And so it is just such a vital and integral part of life. We are 85% water in our blood, 75% water in our brain, 90% water in our lungs, 80% water in our skin, 20% in our bone, 24% in our bones, 75% in our muscle, and it helps the body to absorb. It also helps the body to break down, to convert, and to eliminate. So you see, it is a vital component for everything, every function. Now, I asked last week, when you think of water, does this come to mind? Does saying, oh, I need to drink more water, so I'm going to get more plastic bottles and I'm going to up my water. I'm going to grab those 24-pack cases from Costco or somewhere, and I'm going to start drinking water. And hopefully we have a different perception since last week's workshop. We talked really, what does the body really need? It really needs things free from lead, free from plastic. It'd be nice if we could go to have some pure spring water, so this pure water to come out with the rocks that clean it and add minerals to it. Unfortunately, our world is not like that anymore. And most of the time people think of water as coming out of a plastic bottle or carrying plastic bottles. And we want to get like break it all the way down. Understand that that is not the true betterment of our water consumption. We talk about microplastics that break down from compromised and degenerative the containers, and not just bottles, but any kind of plastic container. We have to become aware. And as the world is becoming more aware, things are turning from plastic to bamboo. It's a shame that, so many trees were wasted when bamboo is such an incredible source. Hopefully they are not adding a lot of chemicals to that, as they're changing from cutlery to even toilet paper. You'll find that we have these things on our Amazon store. We try to educate in a healthy way, bamboo toothbrushes, bamboo toilet paper. But the point of all this is getting away from plastic and working with ceramic, glass, or stainless steel, and then working with purified water. I call it the Barbie syndrome. You are what you eat. You are what you drink. You are what you absorb. But we know that plastics and it's a stackable, just like a good habit is stackable, so are bad habits. Xenoestrogens also play a role when it comes to plastics. Plastic also is a very porous material, believe it or not. It will leach things in it. That's why when we recommend essential oils in water for our betterment, because it goes right into the bloodstream, we say don't put it in plastic, because that oil will leach the plastic as you're drinking it in. Xenoestrogens will also leach into the product that you're drinking from the container. When you have a shelf in a store, in a grocery store, full of plastic bottles, and they're spraying insecticides or any kind of chemicals, that can leach in and affect the contents. When you see plastic bottles out in the sun in front of a convenience store, or if you keep it in your garage, be careful. So we're not just talking about how vital water is, but even how we should consume it. So we talked last week about reverse osmosis water. We have a reverse osmosis water purification system on our Amazon store, but please do your research and let's start understanding what it really means to drink purified water, which we'll go into it a little bit more today, even though this is part 2. Distilled water is not the optimal choice. It's acidic. It's deprived and missing a lot of the minerals. It is hard. It changes. Water can be less alkaline or less acidic. You do not need to drink. I don't believe so. I might have a little bit of a war on my hands when I say this in public, but I don't believe we need any special waters like alkaline water, smart water. We just need to put smart things in our water, reverse osmosis, and then things from essential oils to lemon to cell food to minerals, electrolytes. We can make our own pure water into smart water without all that extra cost or investment. Kangen water is such a big deal. And yes, water is going to help us, but do we need to go that fancy? No, we just need a good, pure base of water without that lead and chemicals, like we talked about, and toxins, some bacteria that can be boiled out, but chemicals cannot be boiled out. Sometimes they intensify. So we need a good filtration system, and then we can add back in what we need. So these are some of the things that we want to stay away from. Like this, sorry, soft drinks, number one, are made from distilled water, and they are leachers. They are mineral leachers. They pull good things out of the body. And then when our bones hurt, or our teeth, we have cavities, or when we're actually more thirsty and we went for that soda, we have to start making that connection. That did not serve us well. Acid buildup can cause lactic acid issues and aging and disease. We're not saying if you had some distilled water, it would cause that. We're just saying, let's learn about what the best sort of water is. Distilled water, we use it for more sterile reasons, medical settings, but to continue to drink distilled water that has nothing really in it is a little bit harsh on the body. And especially after we've already sweated out minerals and nutrition, that's not really the thing that puts it back. Here are some of the sources that you can look at on water. You can certainly Google finding out information on water. Isn't it a shame that things that used to be just no-brainers, we just go and have a pure glass of water, today we have to research. But the point with all of that is that even though we have a lot of bad news with the times we're living in, the pollutants in water, and even when we try to do better, understanding that sometimes we're not doing better by drinking from plastic bottles, whether it's how it affects us or the environment. So doing our research is how we become the savvy group today. 75% of Americans are constantly and chronically dehydrated. And if you're waiting to feel thirsty, you are already dehydrated. And what does that mean? That means that we are going to be feeling a lot of things. And those are the things that we're going to talk about today. 46 reasons why your body needs water every day, and what dehydration causes. Surprising things that it causes, you probably never connected. But when we talk about it today, we want to put the pieces, just sit back and absorb as we do a deep dive, puns intended, to what some of these dehydration, why dehydration may have caused some of these issues. What causes dehydration? Stress. Absolute stress. Same reason that we lose minerals, magnesium, B, zinc. The body doesn't differentiate between physical stress, mental stress, emotional stress. It is using up the value of the nutrition that we have put in our body. It uses our fuel to do its job. Stress is actually a job that our body needs to do. It needs to protect us, awaken us, alert us. We're living again in a time where that's overdone. It's an extreme. We shouldn't be this stressed all the time. The body was made to have stress. And at sometimes stress is actually good for the body because it makes it stronger, but not this chronic stress where we don't have time to catch up and refill and refuel what our body is pulling out to keep us alive. It's not doing a bad thing for us. It's actually doing a good thing. It's our environment is actually coming at us way too quickly. Processed foods are dehydrators, pollution, chemicals, sweat, medication, caffeine, alcohol, artificial sweeteners, plastic, and just not drinking enough good water will all dehydrate us. I'm going to give you this example. Coffee is a huge dehydrator. For every cup of coffee that we drink, we need about 5 8-ounce glasses of water to replenish. It takes more water to process the caffeine than the water that comes with the coffee, if that makes any sense. I'm showing this Turkish coffee because I love Turkish coffee, but every country, Turkish, Greek, will always give a glass of water with the coffee. It's just done. They know that it's a dehydrator. Isn't that interesting? Not in the United States, though. And this is how much coffee most Americans drink, 3.1 cups. And usually they get up and it's the first thing they do. They don't replenish the body overnight that lost water through sweat, through the process of what it needs, through urine when you woke up, elimination. They schlep out of bed, go to the coffee machine, half asleep, and then they start downing a dehydrator. And then they wonder why it takes them so long for everything to kick in. And we've talked about this in other webinars and workshops. I love coffee. I enjoy my coffee in the morning, but I don't depend on my coffee in the morning. I wake up with water, lemon water, and then by the time I get to my coffee and I add the good stuff to it, whether it's a little bit of coconut oil or protein. So the point is that we want to make sure that anything that we're putting in our body, we think about. So hydration is important upon waking. And it's also important to understand that caffeine, when you drink it, is a dehydrator. That's just one of the many things, right? So how can water really change our life? There's 46 reasons why our body needs water every day. Now we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive in part 2. If you're ready to take notes, you can. Again, this is why I really am enjoying this new concept that you all brought to my attention of breaking this down into more than one part, because it's a lot to take in. Next week, we will have an open Q&A. We will also have an open forum discussion. I would like to get your feedback, things that resonated with you, things that you've changed during this series, things that you would like to contribute, and how you've benefited. So 46 reasons. I'm going to start. We don't have slides for all of these, but we're going to touch base. And if you do have any questions, like Corey said, pop them in the chat or write them down, and we're going to discuss them next week. So just the most pure and simple: without water, nothing lives. Comparative shortage of water first suppresses and eventually kills some aspects of the body. Understand that. Shortage of water first suppresses, and this is why we're going to go into some of how it suppresses. What are some of the health issues that we've gotten without realizing that it's a down the line factor that may have started with dehydration. Now, I also believe that a compromised gut is there. So now we're going to talk about things that our body has been compromised in, that down the road leads to chronic health issues that are from low to moderate to severe. Water is the main source of energy. It is the cash flow of the body. Water generates electrical and magnetic energy inside each and every cell of the body. It provides the power to live. Water provides the power to live. Water is the bonding adhesive in the architectural design of the cell structure. We need it to our cell. Water prevents DNA damage and makes it repair mechanisms more efficient. So interestingly enough, so DNA damage, vitamin C and water. It's not just the vitamin C that's helping to regenerate damaged DNA, which we know that vitamin C is a precursor to glutathione. Glutathione is a huge antioxidant in the body, but we need water with it. The power of those two. When we take vitamin C, we cannot forget that we were drinking it down with water. Water increases greatly the efficiency of the immune system in the bone marrow, where the immune system is formed. We need it for our bone marrow, including its efficiency against cancer. Again, we need to make sure that's pure water, right? Not in plastic bottles that we're getting the microplastics or the xenoestrogens that can promote cancer. So it's vital to have a good pure source of water that we're consuming on a daily basis. Water is the main solvent for all foods. So water is a solvent. Foods, vitamins, minerals. It is used to break down food into smaller particles and their eventual metabolism and assimilation. So that's why we talked about last week, 30 minutes before a meal, starts the digestive process. An hour after a meal finishes the digestive process. Water energizes our food. Interesting. The sunlight energizes our food. Water energizes our food. It is able to supply the body with energy during digestion. This is why food without water has absolutely no energy value for the body. Let me read that again. Water energizes food, and food particles are then able to supply the body with this energy during digestion. That is why food without water has absolutely no energy value for the body. Now, this is why we need to have things in our body daily, like fruit, which has the water included. Really amazing, the packages of those great foods, veggies like cucumber, tons of water in cucumber, watermelon, celery. All these have the vital nutrients, the salts, the electrolytes, the minerals. So when we're thinking about more water, guess what else comes into play? More fruits and veggies. We talked about this last week. Water increases the body's rate of absorption of essential substances in food. Water increases the body's rate of absorption of essential substances in food. It will allow us, it pulls out and allows us to actually make the food we're eating more bioavailable. Water is used to transport all substances in the body. We think blood, water. Water increases the efficiency of red blood cells in collecting oxygen in the lungs. That's important. We're going to touch on that a little later. Oxygen in the lungs. Water clears toxic waste from different parts of the body and takes it to the liver and kidneys for disposal. Water is the main lubricant in the joint spaces and helps prevent arthritis and back pain. I'm going to read that again. Water is the main lubricant in joint spaces and helps prevent arthritis and back pain. So when we're thinking run for the chondroitin, run for the MSM, run for the shots, the Synvex, the cortisone, all that, the surgeries, we needed to have started with water. Water is the best lubricating laxative and prevents constipation. It prevents clogging of arteries in the heart and the brain. Again, so many times we start having symptoms of heart issues. Now, and remember, I am not a clinician and I have a medical disclaimer. If you have any kind of heart issues, you must see your doctor. But what got you to the point of that? Stress, running, not eating well, not managing stress well, and being dehydrated, eating processed foods, drinking caffeine. And then one day we wake up and our blood pressure is up. And we have issues with our heart. Now we go to the medical system because we're working from fear, not from education. And in this community, we work from education, not fear. We get empowered. But we're working from fear, and then we're given medication, which guess what, is actually dehydrating. Not saying we don't need it. I'm saying let's go back, take those fallen dominoes, because by the time we have a heart issue, let's put those dominoes back up and go to that first domino. What's the one that started that whole thing going? What was our diet like? What was our stress level like? What was our hydration like? What type of hydration were we taking in? Water helps reduce the risk of heart attacks and strokes. Water helps reduce the risk of heart attacks and strokes. On that note, let's everybody take a sip. I am reading directly from Dr. Batman Geller's book. Okay, so he's a doctor, the renowned world doctor. Water prevents clogging of arteries in the heart and brain. Water is essential for the body's cooling and heating electrical systems. Isn't that amazing? Water is directly needed for the efficient manufacturing of all neurotransmitters, including serotonin. Once again, we're talking about we need serotonin. We get on SSRIs. We're depressed. We are possibly completely demineralized, lacking vitamin D, lacking sunlight, not dealing with stress well. And what do? We go take a prescription SSRI. Is it needed? Yes, sometimes it is. But again, what did we do up until that point? Did we go from, I feel like this, and went right to that medication? Or did we work our way up by going, I need to take some more walks. I need some forest bathing. I need to take better care of my mindfulness, my hydrational needs, my nutritional needs, my movement, my physical activity. These are your reminders to do that, to do things like that. Small, sustainable daily habits that can change the overall quality of our life. You know, it's interesting, even as a little girl, I remember sometimes I would get a headache. Now I look back and I think, what had I done? What was I dehydrated in? You know, had I run all day outside playing and didn't take the water back in? Did I drink Diet Coke? Back then it was Tab. What was it that was causing that headache? Even hormones. But when I would remember thinking, when I would take that Tylenol, I would actually think to myself, is it this pill or is it the water that I'm drinking with the pill? I thought that's interesting that all these years later, we're coming down, I'm finding the answers to that. Water gives us power and electrical energy for all brain functions, most particularly thinking. We need water to think. Water is directly needed for the production of all hormones made by the brain, including melatonin. So now we're talking about, I need to take things to up my serotonin. I think I need to take things for melatonin for better sleep. What do we need? Is it possibly just more water to help the natural process of serotonin and melatonin that's already occurring inside of us to work better? Putting the pieces together. Water can help prevent attention deficit disorder in children and adults. Once again, I have children that I see for attention deficit disorder, as well as some adults. What's interesting is we'll talk about diet with the parents. We'll talk about things like red dye, DNC. We'll talk about processed foods. We'll talk about some high fructose corn syrup. And many times the parents will say, oh, no, my kids don't eat that dye. They don't, of course. We're not talking about you're going to give them the red dye. But when you look at the little goldfish, or when you look at certain children's yogurts, oh, my kids do, they love that yogurt. Then they're drinking soda because that's a treat. Then they're eating little snacks. They're stressed at school. Do we see a connection of how a child's lifestyle can be more toxic than we think it is? And just purifying their diet, their mindfulness, their water consumption, removing colors and dyes, seed oils, just all. And then, but do we do that? No, we may take them to a psychiatrist or a psychologist. They may put them on Ritalin. Again, not saying that that shouldn't happen, just saying, did we look at all the connective dots before we got to this place, before we made that medical decision? Would we change some of those things? Yeah, no more colors on, and we're going to check those labels. Drink more water. Turn off the electronics at a good time, 7:30, 8 o'clock. What did all that do for the child's mind and body before we took it to the next escalated level of seeing a professional and then getting on medication? Could it have just been more water? Water increases efficiency at work. It expands your attention span. Water is a better pick-me-up than any other beverage in the world. Water is a better pick-me-up. Pick-me-up. 4 o'clock, we need a pick-me-up. And some people are hungry. They have a little, the munchies around that time. Some people are just getting tired, lethargic. Coffee, a little sweet, a little chocolate, a little sugar. All those are actually dehydrators. Water is a better pick-me-up than any other beverage in the world and has no side effects if it's pure water. Water helps reduce stress, anxiety, and depression. Water restores normal sleep rhythms. Water helps reduce fatigue. It gives us the energy of youth. That's amazing. So I'm hoping over the next week till the third and final part of this series, that we're going to make note of some of these things that may be resonating. Water makes the skin smoother, helps decrease the effects of aging. So when we talked about structured water last week, water with collagen, water with electrolytes. It's not just the collagen that we're putting in our water, it's the collagen and the water. Structured water. Make your water even more meaningful to help in all these ways. Water gives luster and shine to the eyes. Water helps prevent glaucoma. Water normalizes the blood manufacturing system in the bone marrow. It helps prevent leukemia and lymphoma. Water is absolutely vital for making the immune system more efficient. Water dilutes the blood and prevents it from clotting during circulation. Water decreases menstrual pains and hot flashes. Water and heartbeats, isn't this interesting? Water and heartbeats create the dilution and waves that keep things from sedimenting in the bloodstream. Your heartbeat needs the water needs your heartbeat. That's its own function. The human body has no stored water to draw on during dehydration. The human body has no stored water to draw on. That is why you must drink regularly and throughout the day. Dehydration prevents sex hormone production, one of the primary causes of impotence and loss of libido. Hormone balance, loss of libido, dehydration, make the connections. To lose weight, water is the best way to go. Drink water on time, and it can help with weight loss. You will not eat excessively when you feel hungry, but you will not eat excessively when you feel hungry, but are in fact only thirsty for water. Dehydration causes deposits of toxic sediments in the tissue spaces, joints, kidneys, liver, brain, and skin. Water will clear these deposits. Water reduces the incidence of morning sickness in pregnancy. Water integrates mind and body functions. Water is an integrative source of the HPA, the vagal nerve, the communication of our mind and body connection. It increases the ability to realize goals and purpose. Water, we're talking about water. It helps prevent the loss of memory as we age because things are still plump. We still have neuroplasticity. We're looking at neuroplasticity, motility, being able to be flexible from the brain to the joints to the emotions is vital for well aging. And water is the main and most vital catalyst in all that. Water helps prevent the loss of memory. It helps reduce the risk of Alzheimer's, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, Lou Gehrig's. Water helps reverse addictive urges, including those for caffeine, alcohol, and some drugs. And those were 46 reasons of why our body needs water every day. Impressive? Let's go on. Just a few primary properties and functions of water in the body is what we covered. What is chronic hydration? And here's where it gets a little scary, but again, education is knowledge and knowledge is empowerment, and that empowerment, like when we apply it, well, now we're reversing some of these chronic things. What are the pictures here? Chronic dehydration. It's really just simple. When we put a fresh fruit in our dehydrator, it pulls the water out. It now becomes dried fruit. Right? So think about these plums as your organs. Think about, do you want your kidneys and your liver and your pancreas to be a plum full of juicy water, or do you want it to be a prune? Because that is the result of dehydration. So we want our skin plump, our organs plump, our brain plump, our cells plump, our heart, the carriers of these nutrients through our bloodstream, all by water. So we're going to identify some dehydration. Now, this is where you might be a little bit surprised. We're not going to go into all of them in detail unless you want to talk about these next week. I will go a little bit into asthma because it's the top, but if you want to talk about the connection between dehydration and allergies, which is kind of related to asthma, dehydration and hypertension, dehydration and constipation, dehydration and type 2 diabetes or autoimmune diseases, please write it down, send it to me in an email, and we will discuss it next week. But just to touch base a little bit on how dehydration is connected, because we're going to connect, we want to make sure we got these links, right? Asthma and dehydration are related because when the respiratory mucous membranes, all from the sinus passages to the bronchioles, to the lungs, to our lumen, when they become dry, this causes the release of an inflammatory marker. It's that chain of events. It's a histamine release. Interestingly enough, when we take an antihistamine, we get even more dehydrated. I mean, it's just, we're kind of living in a weird catch-22 medical system in Western medicine. It is what it is. But so when we have dehydration and our mucous membranes dry out, the inflammatory marker is a histamine release, resulting in things like allergies and asthma responses. When enough water is lost through the lungs, histamine kicks in to constrict the bronchial passages and increase mucus production to conserve whatever water is there. Remember, when the body does these things, it is not our enemy. It's actually there to protect us. That response should be the alert that something has happened. We need to ask our body, what are you trying to tell me? And is it really that you're dehydrated? The mucus covers a tissue to prevent from drying out. Once a diagnosis of asthma has occurred, the person has been chronically dehydrated for some time. So now I'm just going to ask you if you've ever had asthma or allergies, because, and many of us have allergies, but see, our body, between our gut, if we have a healed gut with enough of a good, diverse microbiome, and we're hydrated, the body should be able to respond to these external issues. Some of them are emotional. Some of them are environmental. We should have enough stored immunity to respond to them where they don't become severe. That's easier said than done when we have so many challenges in our life. But if we are dealing with chronic asthma or allergies, just take a moment and think about it. If this resonates with you, it may or may not, but take it back. What was your childhood nutrition like? What did you drink? What medications did you take? How was your emotional life? How was it dealt with? And as you bring it forward, could there be a connection? Hypertension, we see blood pressure, constipation, that's kind of a no-brainer. Type 2 diabetes, very interesting connection with type 2 diabetes and dehydration, even autoimmune diseases. Does anybody want to put just in the chat anything, any of these interested, any of these categories that they might be interested in going into a little bit more? And take your time doing that. So this was the beginning. We were talking about chronic dehydration and some of its underlying effects that we have not connected. Here's level 2, more drastic emergency indicators, heartburn. Heartburn, we think, how can that be more than hypertension? Because heartburn is really a burning signal that something is going wrong in the digestive tract that now can cause a lot of issues, a lot. That's why when we do consultations, I am a practitioner that absolutely deals with the gut as one of the most fundamental and foundational things that must get healthy before we can address any of the other, what I call symptoms. They are not syndromes to me. They are symptoms of deficiencies in the body that are then, again, those chain reactions causing that. Gut health is absolutely vital. So more drastic emergency indicators: heartburn, dyspeptic pain, anginal pain, heart pain, lower back pain. Lower back pain. Think about this. Lower back pain caused by dehydration, a lacking of lubrication in the joints. And we're also compressing that area all the time. And then we're taking medication for it. Medication that's robbing us of hydration. And now we're losing mobility. And once again, it becomes a catch-22. We may take another medication for that. And then we may become depressed after that because we can't move, we can't think right. We think it's the pain, but could it be pain and dehydration? Remember what water does for our thinking ability? Rheumatoid joint pain, migraine, colitis, fibromyalgia, bulimia, morning sickness for those who are pregnant, and hormonal imbalances. So again, it's important to look at, when you are dealing with these issues, what is your water intake like? What is your caffeine intake like? What is your sunlight intake like? What is your movement like? If we're sitting all day, stressed at work, drinking coffee, eating a drive-through meal with a soda or diet soda because we're on a diet, do we not see how this has been building up for a while before we get to probably our 40s when the first indicator starts? Because up to the age of 25, we have a lot of enzymes going on. From the age of 25, it's actually, that is the first turning point. We don't realize it because we're still moving and we're running and we compensate without realizing it. But 25 is the first demarcation of things starting to lower and toxicity building up because of what we thought we could handle as young people. And then usually it's by our early 40s that we get enough of an indicator with high blood pressure or some kind of pain, some kind of twinge, that we go, uh-oh, and what do? Did we change anything in our lifestyle, or did we just go to the doctor who put us on medication? And that medication caused a side effect that gave a second medication, because here's how it works. Usually blood pressure medication and not changing a lifestyle will then affect our cholesterol. Cholesterol will also then affect our blood sugar. So before we know it, realize it, from our 40s, we started with something with high blood pressure. And by the time we're in our 50s, we're on 3 different medications for heart, cholesterol, and blood sugar, type 2 diabetes. Think about what we did to get to that point. It didn't just drop from the air overnight into our head. It's choices and lifestyle. Now, some of it is out of our control, and that is the truth. Again, we're living in a very unnatural system, but this is what's educating us, where we can say, you know, I can look back, and this is not to beat yourself up. There is no judgment here at all. It's to say it is never too late. Never. Once we become aware. To finish this up, because I wanted to make it a little bit, well, we have more, but I just kind of wanted to finish up this part 2, with a very, again, being aware is simpler steps than we think. And it actually, the body is very resilient, and it can turn us around. It could be to the point of, I didn't need to take my medication that much, or the doctor took me off medication, or he lowered my dosage, or I didn't have to take my inhaler, or hey, I started working out, I've lost some weight, I've built muscle tone, I can go from 2 miles to 4 miles, I am happier, I am more goal oriented, I have less brain fog, I sleep better. Any of that, you should pat yourself on the back and give yourselves a hand. That's what this is about. 4 simple steps to vibrant health based on the topic of what we're talking today. Balance the salt and water in your body. Do not pull out the minerals in drinking too much water without electrolytes or minerals. We talked last week about things like cell food that adds electrolytes and even amino acids. And we talked about electrolytes. I'm showing the doTERRA brand. You can research your own electrolytes. They have on FullScript. They have even just little droppers that you need maybe 5 drops to a gallon, but they are, there's no taste. And sometimes they are, they can leave your mouth actually a little dry, believe it or not. You can put a little Himalayan salt, which is amazing, but this is more balanced. Magnesium, deep ocean minerals, ginseng root extract. Pretty cool if you want these options. Here's the other option. These are some of the, this is from FullScript, but you can also research your own. Those are the drops I was talking about from plant-derived minerals, plants. So again, can we eat more plants? Can we eat more plants during the day and get that water, that mineral water? Sure, we can do that too. These are replacements. Please do not drink things like, where is it? Like this blue thing. No, that's all I'm gonna say. No, don't drink this. Don't drink it from the plastic bottle it's in. Don't drink it from the blue color. Don't drink it from the content, the source of sugar that's in there. Just don't do it. Here's some options. This, or find your own. Research them. Okay, so back up here. Balance salt and water in the body. It is an amazing electric hydro connection that is, I don't know how to say it, just this is like the bottom line. If you did nothing else, balance the salt and water in your body. And remember, that's where those minerals come in. We talked at the beginning during our little trivial test. Magnesium helps with that. Potassium helps with that. Magnesium and potassium, such incredible things for the heart. Potassium is amazing for the heart. Then add some amino acids in there like arginine, citrulline. Before you decide that I'm going to have to be on this blood pressure medication, heart medication, just try this. Even under a doctor's care, even if he says, I'm going to give you adlopamine. Before we do that, doctor, can I just try this for 3 weeks? See what he says. No, you need to get on it right away. Okay, but if I get on it right away and then I see that it's lowering, will you help wean me off? And they usually say yes. Or, doctor, can I wait a little bit before I get on that? Because I want to try these. And they might say, yeah, but be back here in a month. And if you're back here in a month and we still have issues, we'll put you on there. Sure. So have these respectful, educated conversations with your doctor. Exercise. It is the fountain of youth. Movement is the fountain of youth. From flexibility to muscle tone to bone density to brain, function to antidepressant to weight, being stabilized it's the fountain of youth. And then replenish with mineral water, good, pure mineral water. Avoid beverages that dehydrate. When we have so many choices today of really tasty drinks, every Thursday on my Instagram page, there is an idea of what to have as a drink option or what to stay away from. It's as simple as that. Every Thursday, it's called Thirsty Thursday. Every Thursday, if you really don't have an idea, scroll down through all the posts that I've put through all the months and months and months, and you will get incredible ideas and fun ideas, from adding essential oils to adding just drops of fruit juice to lemon to seltzer water with cherry juice, with cranberry juice, with here's an interesting thing on this one. So this book has been around for how many years? Juicing for Life. I'm sure many of you have seen it, maybe even done it. It's been around from, I believe, the 80s. I probably have like 5 around here somewhere. As some of them back in the day, they came with a juicer I'm trying to see when the first one is. Oh, this one is 1992, but I'm wondering if there was one beforehand. So this was an incredible book when I was juicing. I don't juice anymore. I just don't feel it's necessary to juice anymore, especially with contaminated or not or GMO, glyphosated stuff. Sometimes I wonder when I'm concentrating the juice and it's not organic, how much of the chemicals am I also taking in? But again, what if we took some of these ideas, these juices, and put them in water? How tasty would that water be? And put them in seltzer water, put in mineral water. And now we have a million different options at our disposal, from oranges to carrots to beets to just add them in your water. You don't need to juice them, just add some in your water. Cucumber, that cucumber lemon mint combination, amazing. If you need more ideas, check out Every Thirsty Thursday on my Instagram page. We're going to start putting these on our website. It's getting there. You see, we have evolved a lot, and we will eventually be doing all this where you could just go to drink options, but get rid of beverages that dehydrate, get rid of artificial sweeteners, get rid of things that have chemicals and color. Cola is a cleaner. It's really, I don't know how the body, it's amazing, because how has the body survived by drinking things like colas? They're leachers. It rots the teeth. It's bad for the brain. So we have way too many options. So if you have any questions on, but what can I drink? Please see the post on Thirsty Thursday on Instagram, or just, Google it. What are some healthy drinks? But they are, we'll share some next week. How about that? We'll share some next week. Really cool beverages that are tasty, and the variety is endless. Eating balanced diet of fruits and vegetables and protein. It's important to have the protein intake. It's a 20-80 ratio, 20% protein, 80% fruits and veggies. There is so much nutritional water, fiber, slow breakdown, as well as your sugars to give you that energy to feed your body. And so when we say that water is a catalyst, it's already built into fruits and veggies along with enzymes. So they can become more bioavailable. So very simple. Balance the salt and water in the body. Move your body. Avoid things that dehydrate your body. Even stress. So that, going back to the mindfulness that we've talked about, eating balanced diet of protein, fruits, and veggies. And then remember, let's get our levels back to where we should be. 73% in the brain, even 3% less, and we start feeling the dysfunction of being dehydrated. Our body doesn't need to feel dehydrated for us to think we're dehydrated. It is already dehydrated by the time we feel it on our tongue. It helps with things like we talked about, weight loss. It helps with skin. We can eat our water in fruits and veggies for life-sustaining nutrients. Here's some interesting percentages that we spoke about last week. Cucumbers are like in the 90%. I cut this off accidentally, but cucumbers are one of the most water and mineral, great for kidneys. If you have kidney issues, cucumber water is fantastic. But look at the percentage of water, and eat your water. Lemon has so many benefits: emotional, cleansing, detoxifying.
It actually said that cucumber is 96%.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
That's great. So then you've got your warm water and all the benefits of warm water. So we go on and on. Can everybody see now why water is just so much more important than maybe we gave it credit for? And why, like doctor says, Bat Mengelish, that you may not be sick, You may just be dehydrated, which makes us sick, but how we can actually turn all these things around. Then we have things like the natural electrolytes, coconut water, and you may not like the taste of just coconut water, but what if you mixed it in with other things? And it doesn't have to be just a full glass of coconut water. It could be a splash of coconut water, a splash of lemon, a splash, whatever your combo is. And that is your homework for next week. Please share with us, our community, a hydrator, a pure nutritional hydrator that is just absolutely delicious. And we go into our teas, and now we go into our herb combinations. Remember, those herb combinations became that with the water, right? So when we're looking at dandelions, which are amazing, one of the most nutritional foods, herbs, plants we can eat, along with parsley, but the water is the component that helps us really make it work. And then just on and on. These are some of the examples of things that are on Thirsty Thursday, of things that help. You want to help your joint pain? Bromelain. Bromelain is it's a supplement that I recommend, right? Bromelain, quercetin, found naturally in pineapple. Pineapple, drink the juice when you cut your fresh pineapple. Pour that pineapple in your water, add a little bit of lime, an essential oil lime, add a packet of electrolytes. Just really, the combination is endless. And you have natural sodas or whatever drinks for forever, and it's doing good for your body. Celery juice is just every practitioner's elixir. Everything is celery juice. You'll notice that if you ever go to a practitioner or you see it online, they will say celery juice for almost everything, but all kinds of wonderful things. Here's some more combinations: cucumber, celery, lemon, apple, turmeric, lemon, carrot, tomato, celery, beet, carrot, orange, ginger. Do you see? Why would we be wasting our health and our money on colas and sodas when we have these? And you want that fizz? Use seltzer water. So it's on and on. Okay, we're going to stop the share here. I'm going to stop, and we're going to discuss it just a little bit. Come over here.
Do you want me to keep the recording going?
Actually, I think we can stop.